The 2013 Kenya National Rally Championship returns for round 4, the KCB Nakuru Rally. Situated in the heart of the Rift Valley, the town of Nakuru lies adjacent to the world-famous Lake Nakuru National Park, home to over 1 million flamingos, rhinos, big cats, and the very rare Rothschild giraffe. The Nakuru Rally is one of the oldest events on the rally calendar and offers a variety of challenges. The loose rocky surface on the roads around Mogotio could cause punctures if the drivers were not cautious. There was a mixture of fast, smooth sections with tight and twisted stages that will be a real test of driver skills. Round 3 had taken the crews to the iconic Taita Hills. Ian Duncan had dominated from the start and took the victory ahead of Tundo and Chaga. The championship was getting tight at the top, with the entire top 3 separated by only 50 points. A win on the Nakuru Rally would be a big boost at the halfway stage in the series. It was early morning as the crews lined up outside the KCB Menengai branch on the edge of Nakuru town. Baldev Chaga still held a slender lead in the standings, but was losing ground to the chasing pair.
If you don't finish a rally or you break down, you don't get too many points. So getting the most points, winning obviously is the best. Podiums are also good enough, but at the end of the day, we do need to win a couple of rallies this year.
Alistair Kavanagh was back hoping to throw a spanner in the works and take valuable points away from the leaders as he challenged for the win.
Well, yeah, no, we're always here to win, so we'll try our best to sort of mess it up for everyone else. But it's going to be hard to beat Flash on home turf, I think. But yeah, the recce went well, nice route, so we'll give it our best and see what happens tomorrow.
Carl Tundo was on home ground and was hoping to defend his crown after winning here in 2012.
I always look to win. Obviously, if we have a few problems and anything, I'll make sure that I try and get points and get to the end. I think that's what this championship is going to be all about, is getting as many finishes under your belt. But I'm defending Nakuru, so I want to win.
Duncan's title chances had suffered a blow in Nyeri, but a win in Voi had put him back in contention.
Yeah, just try and win another rally, we'll see. Just go as fast as we can. I think the first section will be quite slippery. After that, there's lots of rocks, so it might be the one who doesn't get punctures might win this rally. So it's a bit, maybe be careful to start off with and then just see how it goes rather than absolutely flat out.
As the cars were flagged away, there was a huge roar from the crowd for local hero Carl Tundo. Stage 1 took the crews to Gishaya Farm for a short, fast but very technical stage. It was 25.6 kilometers long and had also been designated as a power stage on the rally. The crews will then head up to the Baringo Road to Mogotio for a long 41.9 kilometer stage along the Rift Valley floor. It was fast but rocky and would require a balance of speed and caution if the crews wanted to get through without punctures. The third stage took the crews through the Alfega Sisal estate. It was 16.6 kilometers long and the beginning was tight and twisty as the route followed the river before opening up towards the end. All the stages had been closed off, so spectators were treated to a short but spectacular stage next to the service park at Campiamoto. The whole route was then repeated before the finish at the special stage. The rally crisscrossed the equator with stages in both hemispheres. Gishaya Farm had been designated as a power stage. Prize money of 10,000 shillings was awarded to the crew in each category that set the fastest time of the day on either pass. It had been completely closed off to the public, so crews could really attack, but was also very technical and will be a real test. Carl Tundo was literally in his backyard and was expected to be quick, and after a sluggish start in Voi, he was determined to attack from the onset and went fastest. He was 21 seconds quicker than Chaga. Chaga knew that he needed to win to keep his championship lead safe. He was second fastest but only a second ahead of Duncan. With a win under his belt in Voi, Duncan was now level on points with Tundo. Tundo was on home soil and Duncan would need to find some speed to make up the 22-second deficit. Jassy Chathe was once again on the pace and went fourth fastest, only 7 seconds slower than Duncan. The Rai family owned Gishaya, so it was going to be a hot competition between the boys to see who could go fastest. Onka took first blood and went fifth fastest, but rolled out of contention on the next stage. Rajbir Rai was only a second slower in sixth in his Evo 10. After missing Voi, he was quick to get up to speed and take advantage of some local knowledge. Kavanagh was caught napping, another driver to miss Voi. He was off the pace and dropped 45 seconds to Tundo. He was down in 7th. Quinton Mitchell was a further 3 seconds behind Kavanagh and was also off the pace in his N16. Jasmeet Chana set the 9th fastest time in his Evo 9. It was a good start after a quiet performance in Voi. The Horsey brothers had decided to do the event together, swapping seats for each stage. It had been a while since either had navigated and the pair were in for a lot of fun. Peter rounded out to the top 10 on the opening stage and set the benchmark for the SPV class.
Want me to go again?
First stage was most exciting. I've been navigating for the first time in a long time. I've got a newfound respect for navigators.
Issa Amwari was 11th fastest in his Evo 9, looking for a steady drive to get into the top 10. Frank Tundo lost his intercom at the start of the stage and was forced to drive blind, not ideal with so many junctions and hairpins, and he dropped down to 13th. Azar Anwar's run of consistency came to an end with a roll on the opening stage. The car wasn't badly damaged, but with no spectators available to help put the car on its wheels, he lost over 20 minutes and retired.
Entirely my fault. The note was called perfectly. There was nothing wrong with the road. I mean, the bank didn't jump out into the road. I hit it and flipped.
John Nganga's run of good results also ended upside down, and the crew would have an uphill struggle to be ready in time for the safari. Mahesh Halai was quickest in the S-Class category, with Alistair Keith missing. He was hoping to capitalize and open a gap at the top of the table. Asad Khan was looking for a good result in his old legacy, but was already 49 seconds down on Halai. Geoff Bell was back in his beautiful Datsun 260Z. He was quickest off the classics and was up in 18th overall. Ian Freestone was spectacular in his Escort, going second fastest and was only 11 seconds slower than Bell. Jonathan Soman was third fastest, having lost out on a podium place in Voi. On the last stage, he was again quick in his Escort. Dennis Mwenda came into the event off a retirement in Voi. He was immediately fastest in the two-wheel drive class, opening up a 49-second gap. With championship rival Adnan Suhail missing, he was going to be hard to beat. Saminyori was second fastest in the Little Vitz. The car had been straightened after a roll in Voi and was getting his confidence back. Dalbir Thethi came to Nakuru off the back of his first-class win in Voi, but was over 90 seconds slower than Mwenda in 26 kilometers. The crews then headed up the Baringo Road to Mogotio for the start of the longest stage of the rally. There was plenty of banter as they lined up at the start.
The disadvantage being that we can't see lines of the cars ahead of you. It's always easier following lines and seeing brake marks, and yeah, that's about it. So it's making it easier for Ian behind us, I'm sure.
The route had recently been graded, making the surface very loose, affecting braking zones and making it hard to stay online. Chaga was fast away. He would be at a disadvantage on the loose rocky surface, cleaning the line for the cars behind. He still managed the second fastest time, but dropped another 13 seconds to Tundo. Tundo was on blistering form. Keen to win his home event, he extended his lead to 34 seconds with another stage win despite losing the center diff, which affected the car's traction on the loose surface. Duncan was being cautious over the rocks, not wanting to puncture. In a reversal of what happened in Voi, he found himself 30 seconds down on Tundo, but was still third fastest. Chathe was fourth fastest. He was establishing himself behind the front trio and opened up a comfortable 47-second gap to Mitchell. They were lucky to escape after the battery came loose, and then they got a puncture on the transport section at the end. Mitchell was being too cautious in his N16, and he will have to attack if he wanted to make an impression on the leaders. Fifth at his stage was good, but he was almost too far down already to capitalize if the leaders made a mistake. Issa Amwari's confidence in the Evo 9 was showing, and he went 6th fastest to climb up the leaderboard from 11th to 6th overall. Frank Tundo could hear his navigator again and went 7th fastest and also climbed up the leaderboard, but was 44 seconds down to Amwari. Rajbir Rai went 11th fastest and dropped down to 8th overall, but was happy to be in the top 10. Bad Bari was another driver enjoying his home event. After a slow start, he went 8th fastest to round off the top 10 and was only 10 seconds down on Chana. Kavanagh was disappointed to be so far down at the start of the stage. He attacked but soon spun and then broke a drive shaft. He wasn't having a good season. The Horsey brothers punctured. Alex was now at the wheel and they lost over 5 minutes, even having time for a chat with Kavanagh, and plummeted down the leaderboard and out of contention. Anwar Pandya was 10th fastest to take his first top 10 time in his new N16, moving him up to 12th in the process. Farhaz Khan was 11th fastest. The Subaru driver enjoyed the rocky section and he was in 11th, 25 seconds behind Bari and hovering around the top 10. Mahesh Halai was again fastest in the S-Class and moved into 13th overall. Asad Khan was also having a good run in the Legacy. He dropped more time to Halai but was still second in class. Jaswinda Chana had rebuilt the gearbox after Voi. Despite the fast section suiting his Celica, he was still off the pace, 3 minutes down on Halai. Geoff Bell struggled through the stage in his Datsun. He lost 3rd and 5th gears but still managed the 16th fastest time. It was disappointing on a stage that suited his car, but he still held a comfortable lead in the class. Hardev Sira led the class standings coming into the event and was happy to look after the car and get to the finish in a podium position. Tajveer Rai's home event ended with a broken rear suspension. It was a big disappointment for the crew. As the crews headed for stage 3, Tundo held a comfortable lead. The stage was short and smooth, but required a lot of skill to keep up the speed on the tricky river section. From the onboard camera, you can see how close the sisal plants are if you got it wrong.
Do a flash. 30.
Duncan attacked and went fastest, clawing back 11 seconds from Tundo's lead to end the stage, just 19 seconds behind. Tundo was second fastest. The first loop had gone to plan. He had attacked hard on the previous stage but lost some of his advantage on this shorter stage. Mitchell was more at ease on the smoother stage, not so concerned with punctures. He opened it up and went 3rd fastest, showing what the Impreza could do. He moved into 4th overall. Chaga was only a second slower in the Evo 10 but was losing ground to the leading pair and was now 36 seconds behind Tundo.
And right 8.
Peter Horsey was back behind the wheel and went 5th fastest. There was still plenty of stage miles left to get back up the leaderboard despite the occasional close call.
Enter left 9. Sorry. 30.
Frank Tundo was also enjoying some home advantage and went 6th fastest. He moved into the 6th overall when Chate dropped down. Chate's luck ran out and he punctured in the short stage. He was forced to stop and change it and lost over 4 minutes, dropping back to 8th overall. Issa Amwari continued to impress with the 7th fastest time. He moved into 5th overall but was over 2 minutes down on Mitchell. Jasmeet Chana was also having a good run in the Evo 9, setting consistent times to hold on to 9th. Rajbir Rai was getting settled into the new Evo 10 with only 1 rally under his belt. He was still learning the car. He moved into 7th overall ahead of Jasit Tathe. Rounding out the top 10 on this stage was Galib Haji. He was only 2 seconds slower than Rai in the other Evo 10 but remained in 14th. Farhaz Khan was 21 seconds faster than Fahd Bari and closed the gap to just 4 seconds, threatening Bari's top 10 position. Mahesh Halai was once again fastest in the SPV class to increase his advantage over Asad Khan to 3 minutes and moved up to 12th overall. Asad Khan was holding station, looking after the car after retiring in Voi. He was happy to keep his own pace, knowing anything could happen on the rocky sections. Geoff Bell was down to just 2nd and 4th gears, but he was still fastest in the class and held on to 60th overall. The Super Special at Kampiamoto was where the spectators got a chance to watch the crews in action, and the drivers were keen to put on a good show for the fans. Chaga was fast into the stage. The bulky Evo 10 not so well suited to the tight hairpins, and he could only manage the 5th fastest time. Duncan was fastest. The circuit was repeated twice, giving the crowd plenty to cheer. Tunda was joint second fastest with Mitchell and Farhaz Khan. The time's not really having an impact on the leaderboard, but it was still important to go flat out. Mitchell is always quick on the special stages. The tight circuit suit the nimble Impreza better, and he was only a second slower than Duncan. Farhaz Khan enjoyed a moment to mix it with the leaders. Second fastest and matching Tunda was impressive on this short stage. Joint fifth fastest were Alex Hossi and Rajbir Rai, who set the same time as Chaga, 2 seconds slower than Duncan. Chatu was also a bit rugged on this stage, missing a gear on the first hairpin. He was 5 seconds slower than the time set by Duncan. Frank Tundu rounded out to the top 10 on his fast pass through the stage, which will be repeated in the afternoon as the final stage of the day. Geoff Bell was impressive considering he only had 2 gears. The crowd hardly noticed as they threw the Z around the hairpins. Jasmine Chana was 10th fastest and ended the morning look comfortable in 9th overall. Fahad Bari kept impressing his local fans and got a little overexcited on the super special. First, he forgot there were 2 loops, then nearly hit the tree before finally hitting an anthill and rolling. He was able to get going again and would have to hope the service crew could fix it in time to continue.
We were going through the second loop, spectator, and then we hit an anthill. The car flipped. When we tried to correct it, it flipped over completely.
The crews then headed to the only service park of the day. The front trio was separated by 30 seconds and the mechanics got busy preparing the cars for the second loop of all the stages. Tundo held a slender lead but was losing time to Duncan and hoping that the mechanics could fix the center diff.
Yeah, it's been going okay actually. Although the center diff's not working, we're losing bits of time. We did the 42 without the diff and all of the rest.
Okay.
But it's going okay.
A bit slow in the morning and then a bit careful on the rocks. We woke up on the last stage. Yeah, it's going quite well.
Jasi Chathe had a lot of ground to make up after the puncture on the third stage and will be on max attack to try to climb back up the leaderboard.
The second stage, we also had a clean run, but lucky to get out of the stage and found the battery had come off and had a bulge tire which we had to change. Then the last stage, we had a punch in halfway, so we had to change, and that's where we lost time on the third stage.
Geoff Bell wouldn't be able to repair the gearbox, so would continue out on the second loop with only second and fourth. Quite a challenge, especially on the tight sections.
Second stage, which would have been perfect for us, unfortunately, the gearbox. We've lost third and fifth gears, which slows us down a lot. Third's of an important gear in this car because we spend a lot of time in it. But we'll struggle on.
Dennis Wenda had made a clean sweep of the morning loop. The car was working well and he had a big lead in the class.
It's absolutely fantastic so far. We've not had any problems. I think we're going a bit slow. The car is perfect, fantastic. We've not broken anything. It's ready to take the next beating.